Warning: the following video may cause a foodgasm. Please be advised. Today, we are going to turn this into this. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Today, we are having us some good old Frito Pie. Ooh, baby.
I'd probably take her. YK, that's all gold. Big rings, that's all gold.
Man, I'm done playing with these niggas, man, for real.
YK, that's all gold. Big rings, that's all gold.
I swear I gotta get to the fad.
Shit, y'all, how y'all hating? Welcome to Ratchet Meals. I am your chef, Ratchet 5 cents. Today, we are making Frito pie. I'm gonna go wash my hands and we will get started. I'll be right back. Okay, so obviously the first thing you want to do is turn your stove on. Medium is fine. And then you want to get your hamburger and put it in. Okay, now here's a little trick. All right, you know how when you have meat and stuff and you put the trash in the trash, but it starts to stink? All right, well, you see, as you can see, I rinsed this out, okay? And I'm going to take some bleach and also put that in the trash can, and that will stop it from stinking. Okay, what you want to do now is start separating your meat, because you know, if you don't separate it, it's just going to cook as one big block, and that's what we don't want. Alright, now y'all already know I will randomly pop up with an onion in a hot second, okay? Now you should have known that was coming. I bet you she's gonna add some garlic too. Watch. I bet you. That's just what I do. So I chopped up some onions and I'm finna add them to the meat. Just one onion is all you need. Okay, so now once you've mixed your onions in with your meat, it should look like this. And we are going to let that cook for a little while. Alright, so while we're letting that cook, let me just explain something right quick. You do not have to use onions and everything like I do. I just like onions like that. But if you do like onions, but you can't always cut them, you know, you might have problems with your hands. They might make you cry. Hell, I can't cut onions all the damn time. My hands won't let me do it. So it is perfectly fine to use onion powder or dehydrated onions. So, yeah, you can still make it do what it did. Okay, so we are checking on our meat. And what we're going to do is just come in here and flip it a little bit. Move it around to make sure that it is cooked thoroughly. And also to make sure that our onions are also cooked thoroughly. So just flip it with your spatula and move it around. And just let it keep cooking. Don't rush it. And this is another reason why you should not cook when you are starving. Because when you are hungry, you tend to rush your cooking. That's what you don't want to do. So, you know, just let it do what it do, basically. Okay, now we are going to turn it again, flip it.
Smack it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh no! Wrong video. Okay.
You do not have to cook your meat this long, but I like mine like really, really browned a little bit. So that's why I do this. Right now, I can turn the stove off, and what I forgot to do was turn the oven on. We're gonna turn that on to 350, and we're gonna act like the oven was already on, and I'm just gonna wait for that to heat up. So I'm stirring this right now, and then I will come back and put the meat into a pot to be baked. Okay, so like I said, I forgot to preheat the oven, but we gonna act like I remembered. And while it's heating up, we gonna do some other preparations. Now, most of you remember, I do not have a colander. So if, like me, you do not have a colander, you can still make it do what it did. That is what Ratchet Meals is all about. So, you see this here slotted spatula? This is what we're going to use. You take it, scoop it up, smash it, and then transfer it. Again, take it, scoop it up, smash it to get the grease out. Okay, and you know what? Just so we don't make a mess on the stove in case any of the meat drops, I'm going to use this to transfer it over. Once again, take it, scoop it up, smash it, and just so we do not make a mess, we transfer it over here. And that's what I mean by just so that we don't make a mess on the stove. I don't know if you can see it, but see how a little bit of the meat dropped in there? That's fine, because we're not making a mess. You just pour it in. Okay, now, when you're done doing that, you may still have some onions and meat on your spatula. That's fine. Just scrape it off. Just scrape it off. And it'll all be in there and nice. And there you go. Now, what you want to do is spread it out. And make sure it is nice and even in the bottom of your pan or pot or whatever you want to put it in the oven with. Okay, all across the bottom, just like this. And like I said, I like mine a little browner, so that's why it is browner. I did not burn it. I like it brown, like brown. Okay, so that's what that is. All right, it is at this time you will season your meat. You can use whatever seasoning you want. That's up to you. You season it to your taste. I have adobo seasoning, ground black pepper, garlic powder. Y'all know I put garlic in damn near everything too.
See? I told you. What I tell you? Didn't I tell you? I told you.
And I have blackened seasoning. So we are going to get this popping. Put a little bit of that in there. And again, it does not matter what order the seasonings go in as long as they get mixed in well. So we have a little pepper, some adobo. Keep in mind that adobo is salty, So this is why I do not have any salt. And we have garlic powder. Okay, so we have all of that in there. I'm just going to mix that up real good. Keeping in mind that we want to keep this meat evenly placed in the bottom of this pan. So once it gets mixed up, you want to make sure you spread it out evenly again. Okay? And we have that done. All right. So now, I have some chili sauce. Some people might choose to use tomato sauce, but I'm allergic to fruit, and tomatoes are a fruit. And I done already had an allergic reaction to some nail gel. I don't feel like breaking out in hives because of some goddamn tomato sauce, okay? So, this is why I'm using chili sauce. And because of this allergy, I found out that chili sauce actually makes it taste better than the tomato sauce does. So there you go. All right, so I am going to open my chili sauce and dump it all in there. Use the whole thing. All right. Now, what you want to do, because you see the bottle is still coated, run some water through there. Not a lot. Just a little bit. Put the lid back on. Shake it up. And pour it in there. Little bit of water ain't gonna hurt nothing. Okay. And we mix that up. Make sure the sauce is all through the meat. All right, so by now, with your seasoning and your sauce in, this is what it should look like. And again, we want to taste as we go. So, what I did, scooped a little bit out on a plate, just a little tiny bit, that's all you need. And you taste that to make sure it's good. Okay, so mine was well seasoned, so now we're gonna move on to the cheese. Here we go. You do not have to add cheese, but if you like cheese like I like cheese, here you go. Some shredded cheese, some Velveeta, whatever kind of cheese you want to use that. Me and this bag are having some technical difficulties right now. So, there we go. Now, what you want to do, sprinkle that cheese out. It don't have to be a lot. It can be a lot. It can be a little. That's up to you. All right. Now, we want to spread that out. Make sure it is nice and even over all the meat. That is, if you choose to use cheese. Make sure everything is nice and even. And what you're going to want to do is make sure you get all the cheese off the spoon. So, take that and scrape it. All right, and there you go. Okay, so now what you should have is something like this. As you can see, there is a little bit of sauce on top of the cheese. That is because that is the cheese that was scraped off of the spoon. So the sauce came off with it. It's okay. It's all going the same place. It's not going to ruin anything. It's all good. So that part. Now, ladies and gentlemen, step into the stage, the star of the show, the Fritos Yes, yes. Embrace. Embrace, yes. And as you can see, I have chili cheese. You can use whatever Fritos you want. But, again, this just adds to the flavor. It enhances it. I love it. It's beautiful. So, you sprinkle that on. Okay? Do not use the whole bag on this layer. And, well, that came out pretty evenly. I don't do that often, honey. Okay, so now what you should have is something like this. I'm going to add another layer of cheese now. Okay, now, you don't have to use cheese at all. If you do use cheese, you do not have to add a second layer. That is just, it depends on what you like. I like a lot of cheese, so here we go. Going to add another layer of cheese on top of the Fritos. And make sure your cheese ain't clumpy. That happens after it's been in the refrigerator sometimes. You know? Well, that happened. Let's just go on ahead and do that. If it falls all out like that and it comes out clumpy like this, just break it up. That's all you gotta do. Just break it up. Your thickest layer of cheese, if you do choose to use a second layer, your thickest layer should be your top layer of cheese. So, there we go. That is all nice and pretty. And now you should have something like this. All right. Now we want to add another layer of Fritos on top. Just to have that crunch, that crisp, that ooh, baby. Okay, so like I said, more Fritos. Yes. And you can use the whole bag if you want. You don't have to. Again, make sure it is spread out evenly. Okay? Make sure that is nice and, like I said, ooh, baby. And so now you should have something like this. That top layer right there. That is that, ooh, baby.
Say ooh, baby, one more again. One more again.
So now we are going to put this in the oven. Ooh, okay, all right. And let that bake. Okay, so now, while we're letting that bake, I just want to say something. When you put it in the oven, you are almost done. And when I say almost done, you really just have to let the cheese melt. And that's the only reason you're putting it in the oven, to let the cheese melt all the way through the meat and, you know, let it get nice and creamy and whew. Anyway.
Bitch, is you good? You alright? You need a break.
Anyway, because the meat is already cooked. So, it don't take long at all. Okay, so right now we are going to check to see what that cheese do. So, I don't know if y'all can see it. I don't want to put the phone too far into the oven, but what I will do is take it out a little bit. And what I always forget to do is grab my glove before I open the goddamn oven. Anyway. As you can see, it is mostly melted. There are some little cheese strands that could be melted a little further. So I'm going to pop it back in for a few minutes. Okay, so time to check again. and it looks good. So I'm gonna call it done. All right, now when you are done and you dig in, here is what you will have. You see that cheese just dripping. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. All right, now, how does it taste? Let's find out.
You know you on camera, right?
Yeah, see, I can't mess with y'all no more because I'm finna get up into this. So this is the Frito Pie. That's just my 5 cents, and I'm out. Peace.
YK, that's all go. Big rings, that's all go.
Man, I'm done playing with these niggas, man, for real.
YK, that's all go. Big rings, that's all go.
I swear I gotta get to the bag. Shit.
Hey, that probably take her.